All right. Looks like we're live here. I'm going to give it just a second to make sure that it is broadcasting on all our channels. So I am actually live streaming here on LinkedIn as well as my Facebook business page and over on YouTube. And looks like we're good to go. So, um, let me just check one more thing here, guys. Okay, looks like we're good to go. Let me just introduce myself if I am new to you and you're new to me. My name is Beverly Smith, and I am the founder of Career Success Strategies. I'm also the former owner of a staffing and recruiting firm. So not only have I hired my own employees, but I have firsthand experience working with lots of hiring managers. I know what they're looking for. And now I'm using that knowledge to help mid and senior level managers build their resumes and land the career of their dreams. So, if you are catching this on the replay, leave me a comment and use the hashtag replay. I'd love to know that. I will be checking all the comments. I'm going to try to check them as we go, but in case I don't, I will answer later. Also, if you're watching me live, drop me a comment and let me know where you're watching from. Would love to do that. Also, too, if you are joining us from Facebook, you will need to go to StreamYard.com/Facebook, and you will need to give StreamYard access to for me to be able to see your name. Otherwise, it's just going to show up as Facebook user. So that's StreamYard.com/Facebook. And like I said, I will try to check the comments as I go, but it's just me here. And sometimes I get going and I'm not real good about doing that. So without further ado, I want to jump in. I want to kind of back up a little bit. Last week, we talked about growing your connections here on LinkedIn with intention. And LinkedIn is like a big online networking event. If you use the platform wisely, you can strategically grow your connections and increase your visibility. That increases the likelihood of you being found by recruiting and hiring managers. So, visibility, having lots of good connections is important. And I'm not going to go back into everything we talked about last week. If you did not catch that, I will drop a link to that after this broadcast in the comments. So just come back and check this. Also, my YouTube channel is at Beverly Smith Resumes. Now, I'm just going to fess up. I'm really new to YouTube. So when you go to it, it's going to probably look like I don't have anything. Just click on the live tab and all my videos are there. I promise one day I'm going to get that all moved over, but done is better than perfect, right? They're there. And what we talked about last week is really going to be beneficial to what we're going to build on this week. Line, a really good about section, having your at least your first two jobs filled out, having your skills section. I mean, I've done a couple of videos on that, so make sure you check those out. But there's more to increasing your visibility than just having a great profile. And we talked about this last week about having a bunch of active connections on LinkedIn, but that's not the only thing. And so we're going to move forward and talk about what's next. Once you've got those active connections, you've got to be engaged on LinkedIn consistently. And what I don't mean by that is jumping on the platform and scrolling. Got your little phone and you're just sitting there scrolling. Here, let me get my phone. Sitting here scrolling, or you're on your desktop and you're just scrolling. You've got to do more than that, and you really need to be on the platform 10 to 20 minutes every day and you need to instead be liking and commenting on people's posts. And the obvious is that these can be posts that are already in your feed. But one thing, what I want to teach you today, and I want to share with you, is you need to keep in mind that if you are just starting out on LinkedIn, or if you're returning to the platform because you're looking for a job and you haven't been very active, the posts that are in your feed right now may not be relevant to the job that you're targeting, or the companies you're targeting, or the industries you're targeting. And so commenting on feeding and liking or reposting some of those, while it's not a bad thing, it may not necessarily increase your visibility. It's going to increase your engagement, but not necessarily increase your visibility in those areas that you're targeting. But here's what's good. The good news in this, and I love this, you can train the algorithm to show you more of what you want to see in LinkedIn. And so you may be going like, okay, Beverly, how do I train an algorithm? I didn't know we could do that. Well, it's really pretty easy. And it starts with finding posts and liking and commenting and reposting, and finding the ones that are relevant to your industry, to the work that you do, or that you're going to be looking for. And so now you're probably going, well, okay, great. How do I find them? So that's one of the things we're going to jump into next. And a little bit of this kind of ties into some of the things we talked about last week. So I think watching last week's video and then watching this one is going to help you really get comfortable with this. But it's going to require some effort on your part. And just remember, anything worth doing or having definitely requires effort. And I'm just going to jump over here real quick and just make sure. Okay, I don't see that we have any comments yet. So let me just move along. But if you have questions along the way, like I said, I will try to catch them in the comments. So like I said, it's going to require a little bit of effort, but I promise you guys, it's going to be so worth it. You need to spend some time searching out target companies. So if you've not identified companies that you would like to be hired by, spend some time doing that. Really put some thought to that. Think about the type of job you want. You're going to need to do that for your resume anyway, and that's a whole nother thing, but resumes don't need to be generic. They need to be targeted. And so look for those companies, those industries, and start following those companies on LinkedIn. And when you follow them, make sure that you click, there's a little bell on there, and click that little bell so that you can get notified when they post. And now every time that they post in your notifications, you are going to see when they post. So you can jump over there and like and comment on their post. And what's really cool about this is if that's a company that you're interested in, you're going to be on their radar, because they're going to see that you're consistently showing up and showing interest and engaging with their post. So that's a good tactic for you. While you're on that company's page, go over and look. There's a tab over there, a button you can click that tells you everybody who works there that's on LinkedIn. And you can go over there and click that, and you can start looking through those. You can look for the hiring manager. You might look for leaders of departments that you're interested in, and start to follow or start to connect with those people. Now, what I always advocate that you do, and I think this is really helpful, is to don't just connect with them, but go look at their profile. And when you're on their profile, you can scroll down and let me see. I think if you scroll down, maybe past the summary, you should see a block that has their activity in it. And when you look at their activity, there will be like little oval button that says post, another one that says comments, one that says video, image, articles, that kind of thing. Click on their post and you can see if they've been posting. That's important. That will show you how active they are on the platform. But don't be afraid to connect with them if they're not posting either, because not everybody, I think it's the statistic is something like 4% of people on LinkedIn actually post on the platform. But you can click on that comment button and you can see where they have engaged with posts. And so if they're showing some activity and it doesn't look like they created their profile a year ago and haven't been there, then connect with them. And remember what I taught you last week. When you connect, make sure that you're sending them a message and telling them what you have in common. Look for those second degree connections, especially, and let them know who maybe y'all know the same person in common or went to the same school, and express interest in their company, that you're that would be one of your places that you would love to come to work, and start asking. You can engage with them and ask questions. I'm not going to rehash all that because I talked about that last week. Again, you can go and watch that video to learn more, or reach out to me if you have questions on that. But once they accept your connection, go back to their profile, because that little notification bell is on there, unless they're in creator mode, which most people aren't. But click on that little bell, and then when if they post or if they repost something, those notifications are going to show up in your notifications as well. And then you can start going and engaging on their posts. So you may be now wondering, okay, well, like, you say engage on their posts. What do you mean? Well, don't just like it, but try to add a thoughtful comment. Share something that's insightful, what you thought was insightful about the post, or follow up, maybe thank them for whatever they told you that you learned from, but then maybe follow up with a question that gets some engagement going back, because people love it when people comment on their posts and they love to come back and engage on them. And it's a great way to get you noticed. Here's something else that you need to know about LinkedIn. And this is where you're going to be training the algorithm as well. When you go to your feed, if one of your connections likes a post, then you're going to see that. It's not just going to be connections. I mean, it's not just going to be posts of people that you're connected with, but it may be a second degree connection post that shows up in your feed, but your first degree connection has commented. So maybe I'm following, let's say, Arkansas Blue Cross Blue Shield, and I comment on it, and you and I are connected. Now, when in your feed, there's a likelihood, if you've been engaging with my post, there's a likelihood that you're going to see Beverly Smith has commented on this post. And then you can go and look at it, and you can maybe like my comment, or you can add to it. And it's a great way for more people. You see where this is going. It just really broadens the whole network by you engaging. And I love the way LinkedIn does this, because now you're visible to people that you aren't yet connected to by commenting on those posts. So you're going to show up now in the feed of people you're connected with, and you're going to show up, and they're going to see that you're engaging. They may be curious, well, what did Beverly say about that? And they scroll down and read that, and then they interact. So keep that in mind. And the other thing that we haven't quite talked about, and let me just check, I don't see any comments, and making sure I'm not I'm trying to be mindful of our time, because I know I have a tendency to make these things long, and I don't want to be long-winded, and I want to be really mindful of your time. So the next thing I want to talk to you about is the other way to increase engagement is to post yourself. And I would say for a job seeker, posting once or twice, maybe even 3 times a week is a great way to increase your visibility. And this is you can use these things. Okay, even if you're a passive job seeker, I want you to start doing this because this is a way to demonstrate your expertise. It sets yourself apart as a thought leader, and it can even land you a new job. So if you're a job seeker and once you get your new job, don't stop. Keep doing this because it's going to increase your credibility within your industry. It can also open doors for the company you're working at. So let's say you're in business development and you're showing your thought leadership in the product that you're selling, and someone else sees that and they ask you to come speak. They ask you to be a guest on a podcast. They ask you, or they remember you and they hear of another person that could use the product you're selling or the service that you're selling, and they recommend you. So you're building a know, like, trust factor with a lot of people. You're positioning yourself as a thought leader. You're showing your expertise. And y'all, those words can sometimes feel a little bit overwhelming, but keep in mind, you are an expert. You know, whatever your knowledge is, it's a little bit more than someone else. So don't be afraid to get on and share your knowledge, and don't compare your beginning in expressing thought leadership to someone else's middle. Yes, there are going to be people that know a little bit more about something than you do, but don't be intimidated by that. I know that there's probably people that know a whole heck of a lot more about LinkedIn than I do, but I know that my clients need to know what I know so that they can increase their visibility. So it does not stop me from getting on here and sharing with you guys what it is that I know. And I want you to do the same thing. So things that you could post, you could repost someone's post. So if you found something um, very meaningful, you could, in LinkedIn, it's called reposting. You can repost it. Always don't just repost it to your feed without commenting. Always leave a comment and share what you found insightful about this. Or if you're trying to add value to someone, you might even tag them in that post. But do share posts that are interesting to you. If you want to share an article, you can talk about that article, and you can either just directly share it, or I like to leave a link in the comments because LinkedIn's kind of, they're not real big on taking you off the platform. So unless you're sharing a LinkedIn article itself, you may want to just leave a link in the comments and just say, I'm leaving a link in the comments to this great article I read about such and such. So let's just say, like, you're a project manager. You could demonstrate thought leadership by posting on topics such as team management, professional development, or even maybe time management. You might also consider using LinkedIn's article feature, which I just mentioned. But when you go to write a post in LinkedIn, if you will also have an option there to write an article. And if you just click on it, it's really easy. LinkedIn walks you through it. You can upload an image for that article. And I usually go grab something off Canva. It can be Canva is a free platform, or you can go like to unsplash.com, and there's lots of free images there, or pexels.com, or you may have a photo that you want to use. Try to put an image in there. It's helpful. But those articles can then live on your profile. And I don't know if you know this or not. You can jump over to mine and look at it, but there is a section you can put onto your profile called a feature section. And you can add the articles that you wrote there. And it is really great because then when a recruiter comes over to your page and they see these articles that you've written, they see that you have some expertise, you have some thought leadership. You can also pin free to check out mine. I don't have any videos pinned to mine right now, but mine are all articles, but that'll get you thinking. And as you go to other people's profiles, you may start noticing that. And again, if that feature section is not visible to you, you can just click to add it in your section. But you might be thinking now, okay, gracious, that's a lot. When I sit down to write something, my mind goes blank. And now you're asking me, and especially maybe if you're looking confidentially and you're working right now, you're like, how am I going to have time to do this? So just some suggestions. I personally like to keep a running list of topics that I want to write on, or posts that I want to make. And you can use the notes app in your phone or the voice memo. So like when you're out about, if you go for a walk, have your phone with you, and I always get the best ideas when I'm out running or walking, and I'll whip out my phone, and I have a friend that does the same thing, and I'll leave myself a message. Um, Something else I wanted to share with you. I once did a training. This was several years ago, but it was specifically easy for me to say, a training on LinkedIn. And the instructor said, if you have a thought related to your work, it can be an inspiration for a post. So when you think about something about your work, think about how you might be able to share that, and just keep that running list. Keep in You just do a text post. If you're comfortable on camera, shoot a quick video. I do that all the time, and don't YouTube's not real fond. I mean, LinkedIn's not real fond of you pulling up a YouTube video and posting that. That's why I said put the link in the comments. But you could shoot a video on your phone and then just upload it through the app and make some comments about it, use some relevant hashtags. And it doesn't have to be longer than 1 to 3 minutes. Keep it short, because people don't generally, want to stay on. If they're scrolling and they catch it, they'll stay on for 2 to 3 minutes to hear what you have to say if it's interesting. And if you're not overly comfortable on camera, but you're brave, let me tell you, this is a really great way to improve your communication skills and demonstrate them as well. So it's another thing I like to advise my clients to do a variety of posts. You could share inspirational graphics or memes, something that speaks to you, and say what's meaningful to you about it. Maybe like you did a hashtag motivation Monday post every week, and then you become known as that encourager person who always has a really cool motivational post. So my point is engaging on the platform while simultaneously growing your network of connections and having meaningful conversations with them in the DMs is going to increase your visibility as well as your credibility just by leaps and bounds. So I hope that you found today's live stream helpful. And again, if you have questions, please leave them for me in the comments. If you're catching the replay on this, be sure to use hashtag replay so I know that. I do go back from time to time and check these. So would also love to know if you have specific topics regarding resumes or job searching or LinkedIn. Feel free to leave that for me in the comments, or you can send me a DM. And I really appreciate you tuning in, and I will see you next week in my next video. Y'all have a great day.